Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily stock market review for the trading day ending Wednesday, January 21st. Firstly to the S&P 500, and here we see a continuation of the trend to the upside today, a candle that is making another higher high and higher low. The previous day's trading we had a small body form, and it suggested that the buyers, even though they had maintained some momentum, albeit small, they had lost a lot of that momentum compared to the previous day's trading net momentum in terms of the white body. Today they found that again, with the body increasing in size and suggesting that we could see further upside in this market. We've also seen the buyers maintain control, and the market finding support down below the 2019 level, which held a support for the previous day's trading price action, rejected to the upside from below there for the second trading day. Now importantly, the market has been able to close above the Tenkan-sen indicator, and this is the first time in the last week and a half or so that we've seen a close up above there, and a bullish close. So it suggests potential for the market to continue trading to the upside. The only problem here is that we've seen resistance form now at the Kijun-sen indicator, with the market testing above there, being rejected from there and failing to close above. So a very important test coming up for the buyers tomorrow. If they're able to breach that area, we could see the market testing to and possibly through the 2040 level, and even testing very close to the Ichimoku cloud. So a possibility of a breakout tomorrow if the buyers are able to maintain this upside momentum and breach the Kijun-sen indicator and the resistance above there. Now if the market does break out to the upside, we have this highlighted yellow zone that's been an important area in the recent past, and that may hold as some resistance even if the market is able to break out. At the moment we're not seeing any strength from the sellers, so we're expecting that the 2019 level should hold as strong support once again. But looking at the bands here, and the market's now trading within the bands for the second consecutive trading day, a bit more bullishness coming into the market and suggesting that we could see this trend continue to the upside. The lower band now once again holding a support, and any test to the upside may find some resistance around the middle of the bands, around the 2045 level. Next to the Dow 30, and similar type of trading activity where we've seen the buyers maintain control, an increase in the size of the white body, although it was more of a doji candle the previous day, so buyers are attempting to find some momentum, but the size of the body is not as great as the previous, so some doubt whether the buyers are as strong with the Dow 30 as they are with the S&P. But what we've seen here is the Kijun-sen holding as resistance for this market, but the Tenkan-sen also holding as resistance, so slightly different trading activity here, and also the 17603 level acting as a level of price rejection to the downside. There is an opportunity here for the buyers if they're strong enough, but we still do technically have a bearish market in the medium and fast term time frames, so that level around the Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen, roughly about the 17580 level, is going to be very important to the to any potential continuation of the trend to the upside. Next to the Nasdaq 100, and some solid buying in this market, as we saw with the S&P, an increase in the size of the white body, and the buyers maintaining control and suggesting potential for further upside. The 4147 level holding a support, the market test slightly below there, the buyers coming in solidly, but the buyers unable to breach the Kijun-sen resistance as we've seen with the other markets. So the Kijun-sen at roughly around the 4200 level is going to be very important in this market as well. And if we do see the market breach up through there, we could see the Nasdaq 100 trading up towards the top of the Ichimoku cloud around 4252. Looking at the bands with the Nasdaq 100, and here we've seen the lower band holding a support, trading at 4142, 4143, so look for continued support there, but resistance at the middle of the bands at 4209, so that's going to be a very important benchmark for the market tomorrow when we open trading. That 4209 region may act as fairly strong resistance, as we may see the bottom of the bands once again act as support. And next to the Russell 2000, and a very different market here, selling in this market, the close is below the previous close, so the sellers are keener than the buyers here, and that's in line with what we saw for the previous day's trading. The sellers have taken control of this market. They've closed between the midpoint level and the low, not strong control, but certainly a lot stronger than the prior day where neither side had control, and the day prior to that where the buyers had control. So the story here is about a switch in control away from the buyers from 2 days previous to the sellers, and suggesting that there is a possibility of the market trading lower. Also, we saw the area just above the Ichimoku cloud hold as resistance, with the market rejected from above there and closing back within the Ichimoku cloud, suggesting that we maintain a neutral bias in that longer term time frame and suggesting a possibility of lower levels. Now, just looking at the bands here with the Russell 2000, and here we see the second consecutive close down outside of the lower band. It's a moderately bearish close. I'd prefer to see a much stronger close to the downside to have more faith in the trend developing to the downside, and if we see that for the next day and then some strong follow through and a breach of this swing low around 11.51, we certainly could see the market test at least down to the previous or the next swing low down around the 11.34 region. For today, the lower band holding as resistance, the market being rejected from just within there, and it will be an important level moving forward, and it trades at the moment at 11.70. Next, taking a look at some stocks, and the first on the daily charts I'll be looking at is Tsla. TSLA is the code, and here a couple of days ago we saw a window that was opened up, and it has been holding as quite strong resistance over the past week or so. For today's trading, we've almost closed the window with some slight price rejection from there, and also the top of the window coincides now with where the Tenkan-sen is trading, and the Tenkan-sen is at 199.40, so very solid resistance around there, and combined with the round number 200 just above there, that may provide a very solid area that where we could see some price rejection from, so some very important trading coming up. With today's candle, we've seen the buyers come into the market quite strongly. The trend is up by making a higher high and a higher low, and the buyers have taken control, so they do seem to be attempting to build some momentum to test up through these levels. So that $200 level will be very important, and if we see the market trade through there, the next area of resistance is up at the Kijun-sen, which is around the 206-207 region. In terms of performance, we've been solidly underperforming the S&P, and it does suggest that that may continue, and volatility has been ticking up off a cyclical low, and no sign that that's going to change. So if we see some strong selling coming in, we could see the market test back down here to lower levels and breach this swing low around 185. On the bands here, and here we've seen the market test up to the lower band, be rejected from there, failing to close within that band, and that will be a good test for the buyers. The lower band trades at 198.21, and if we see the market close within there and in a bullish manner, we could see Tsla test to the middle of the bands, roughly about the 210 region. Looking next at Google, GOOG is the code, and a fairly strong bullish candle today, and a candle that's broken out up above the Kijun-sen indicator following the bullish breakout above the Tenkan-sen a couple of days ago. The buyers are re-entering this market and attempting to rally to the Ichimoku cloud. We still do have a bearish market in that longer term time frame, trading below the Ichimoku cloud, and if we continue to rally, the resistance at the bottom of the cloud at the moment is at 531.75. If we look at the performance, not underperforming the overall market at the moment, so a bit of strength coming into Google here. And looking at the bands, no longer trading down below the lower band, so we don't have a strong bearish bias. We've actually seen the lower band holding as support over the past couple of days, and now a breakout up above the middle of the bands in a bullish manner, suggesting a possibility of Google testing to the upper band, where we could find strong resistance at 527.31. Moving next to Halliburton, HAL is the code. And with the Ichimoku charts here, we see some fairly interesting trading up above both the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, giving us a bullish market in the medium and fast-term timeframes. We still have a bearish market in that longer-term timeframe by trading below the cloud, and the market testing two important resistance at this previous swing high around the $40.84 level. We have tested just two there today in a solid bullish manner. The buyers are attempting to build some momentum through here. We have a new first time frame uptrend in place, and a breach above there in a bullish manner could see the market trading higher. Now, if we do see the market continue to trend up, then we're likely to face some strong resistance at the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud, about the 43.50 level at the moment. But interesting here is the relative strength comparative is actually moving up outside of the lower band, suggesting that Halliburton is starting to outperform the overall market. So we may have the beginnings of something of a recovery on the way. But first, I'd like to see this resistance level breached, and then the market is going to have to be very strong to trade through the Ichimoku cloud resistance, but we could see something of a small rally here to the upside over the next few days. Looking at volatility, we are at a cyclical low, and it wouldn't surprise to see volatility start to move up and us to see some trending price action. It could be in either direction. We could eventually see the sellers come back in and trade down through the support around the lows here, about the 37.27 area. Moving to the right hand side here, and we're looking at the bands on the daily chart, and we see the squeeze going on, and that's what we want to see as traders. It means that the market is getting ready for a trending move. We've now had the bullish breakout up above the upper band, and what we want to see is strong bullish follow through, and that would suggest that there's a very good possibility of a new bullish bias in the medium-term time frame to develop, and a lot of this would obviously depend on this resistance level being breached as well. But if we can breach there in the next day in a strong bullish manner, we could see this trend develop further to the upside. Next, looking at lows, LOW is the code, and here we see a continuation of a very strong trending price action in the longer term time frame, with the market continuing to trade up above the Ichimoku cloud. But what we have here is quite some indecision in the medium and fast term time frames now, and the market testing down below both the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, then above them below, and now being caught between both the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, and finding support at the Kijun-sen for today's trading and resistance at the Tenkan-sen. So a lot of indecision in those faster time frames. Looking at the relative strength here, for quite some time lows was outperforming the overall market, but that's not the case now. We have just an average performance against the S&P by trading around that middle band, and suggesting that there is a possibility of that changing. Looking at volatility, we see lows trading at a cyclical low, so it wouldn't surprise to see volatility tick up from here, and that may result in trending price action either to the downside or the upside. But we have congestion going on here, something of a pattern forming here with a small pennant or a symmetrical triangle forming, more likely to be a pennant at the moment, and we know that pennants tend to be continuation patterns. Symmetrical triangles can be either, but looking for a breakout either to the upside above the upper barrier, or we could see a breakout to the downside below that lower barrier, and what we want to see is a close above or below these barriers. If we do see a breakout to the downside, looking to strong support at the top of the Ichimoku cloud at the moment, around the $63-64 level. And moving over to the right hand side chart here with the bands, and we see the market trading within the bands here and attempting to trade down to the outside of the bands, no follow through, and it does suggest that we have the market quite neutral at the moment in that medium term time frame, so waiting for a breakout in either direction, with the bands squeezing up, suggesting that we have a potential for trending action following a breakout.